guys, it's Trina, and these are the next few books that I have recently read this year. I've done, I think, 5 of these videos previously if you want to catch up on what I have been reading in 2019, but the next book that is on my list to review is A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. This is a contemporary novel that takes place in the US the year after the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks. The main character that we're following is a young Muslim woman, and she is describing the ways in which she has experienced like Islamophobia after those attacks, and how people just want to assume because of her skin color and the fact that she wears a hijab that she is a terrorist. She was born in America, and they ask her things like, where are you from? No, where are you really from? So she deals with a lot of racism in an extremely racistly and politically charged world because of the aftermath of these attacks. I was in high school on 9/11. I remember one of the office aides running into our classroom telling us that there had been an attack, and then the rest of the day, basically classes, all we did was watch the news on TV. So reading this experience, it brought back a lot of memories and things that, you know, I remember happening. And this is a time that I think Tahereh herself lived through, and she does say in several interviews that she kind of draws on her own experiences, and so I think that that is, you know, doubly powerful. It felt like a very authentic and personal story. The one thing that I wasn't completely sold on was the love story in the middle of this. Like, there is a prominent romance, and Ocean was just like thrust down the reader's throat. Like, Shireen can't so much as take a breath or turn around without accidentally running into Ocean. Like, he is always there. He was just shoved into every single scene, and at some point it's like, okay, we get it, he's the love interest. That part of it wasn't my favorite, but I really loved getting to know Shireen and her interest, and her hobby is she loves breakdancing, which I thought was really cool to read about. I did think that it captured Tahereh's signature style. Like, she has a very flowery style, I think. Like, she knows how to turn a phrase. She's written fantasy dystopian books where she's describing odd things and like supernatural powers, and then even in a contemporary world she still is making things seem pretty. Next, I've read You Look Different in Real Life by Jennifer Castle. This is an older book, and I read this because of a challenge at the beginning of the year, or maybe it was the end of last year. I had my Twitter followers choose random numbers, and then I went onto my Goodreads to read list, found the books that corresponded with those numbers, and I decided I'm going to read those this year. And so this is one of them. This is why I kind of pick this one up. This is about a documentary series that was following the life of 5 different children. It followed them around for like a year when they were in kindergarten, and then published that documentary 5 years later, picked up and followed their lives around when they were 11, and now these kids are all 16 years old, and the documentary producers are back wanting to produce a 3rd film, and we're following one of these 5 teenagers who is the focus of this documentary series. I liked the concept of this, like the idea of a documentary following characters throughout their lives and seeing how they've changed, and I really enjoyed how this explored all the characters' friendship. Like, these kids were all kind of just strangers and then thrust together for the sake of this film, and now, like, you know, they haven't spoken to each other since the last film, and they're all coming back together, and they do have this bond that they can't ignore, but they're realizing that, you know, they've made mistakes, they've hurt friendships, burned bridges, maybe they do still want to be friends, and they're having to face the things that have happened in the previous films that were very publicized, and so people have these preconceived opinions about them, and people all over the world know like very personal details of their lives, and so they're struggling with facing this on camera basically, and facing each other again. I did really enjoy the concept of it, but I kind of felt like maybe one of 2 things could have happened. One, I would have rather read about like the actual final product documentary, because we don't actually see what happens. Like, their kind of direction changes towards the end, and then it says that they show the new film, but we don't know what actually happened, because like the actual story stopped several months before the film was finished. I was really curious to know what the actual documentary was, you know, so I would have rather just read about that. Or I think it also would have worked better if we actually had the point of view of all 5 characters, because this was a very limited lens through just Justine's character. For a book whose concept is about delving into the lives of 5 characters, I just feel like I would have liked to have known more about all 5 of them besides just what we learn about Justine and like what she is seeing going on around her. One of these 5 teenagers is autistic, and I have read a really great review on the representation by disability in Kidlit. I will link that below because they really go into the ways in which the representation was stereotypical yet positive, and the things that the book did really well and the things that they don't want to keep seeing in books, you know, again and again. And I think that overall it was a pretty positive review and positive feeling about it. Overall, this one was kind of a middle of the road book for me. I did enjoy reading it. I did like the concept, but I don't think it was executed in a way that gripped me as much as I was hoping for. I read Everything Leads to You by LaCour. This book has been on my TBR forever and has been recommended to me by everyone under the sun. This is a book about a girl who lives in Hollywood. She's a high school student, but she's interning with like a movie production company where she decorates sets. She has just broken up with her girlfriend at the start of the book, and her girlfriend like wants her back, but they've had this on and off again thing, so there's a little bit of that going on in the beginning. And then her and her best friend get into this estate sale to look for like old vintage props of a celebrity who recently passed away. So they're going to his estate sale to find things for the set of their film that they're working on, and they come across a letter in one of the things that they purchase that's like, if you're reading this, it means I'm dead. Please send this letter to so-and-so at this address. And when they go to that address to deliver the letter, that person doesn't live there anymore. And so then they're trying to track down this person in order to deliver this letter because it's this big celebrity's like dying wish. I was really into it, and I was just loving like the vibes of like the production element, because I actually worked in my high school. I was the sound technician, and I was a set designer for 1 year and did sound for 3 years, and that was sound technician for all of like the high school plays, all of the like talent shows, and all of the school activities and stuff. So like I enjoy the behind the scenes stuff a little bit more than the acting, so I was really enjoying this one. I liked the characters. I liked the different dynamics between the relationships, because you have that dynamic between the main character and her ex-girlfriend, and like the getting over heartbreak and learning your boundaries, and then you have her friendship with her best friend, and then you have like a budding romance and just curiosity about this new person in her life. There is a prominent female-female relationship, and I just really liked all 3 of those distinct relationships in this story, and I always looked forward to picking this up. I was kind of obsessed with it, and I was sad when it was over. Like I wanted this book to just keep going and keep going. So to all the people that recommended this to me, thank you. You were right. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to this. I loved it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have read any of these books, let me know your thoughts on them down below, and just let me know what you have been reading recently. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the comments.